I'm your host, Dale Farham. Alongside me is the Schwab, Kane Watson.
Good afternoon, everybody. Live on Direct again. One more week again here at Primal Sports Talk. What's on the show today, Dale?
Yeah, the lineup for today, we'll have two guests on today. First up, we'll have the national basketball head coach for Jamaica, Pete Matthews. The second segment, we'll have the former table tennis president, Keith Garvey. And as usual, we're going to wrap up with a commentary by Peter Muyong. And also, we're going to do a review of what took place in the world of sports over the past week. Now let us introduce the Primal Sports, our first guest. This man was a head coach for the most popular and famous high school in Jamaica for 15 years. And we know which school we're talking about. That's Kingston College, the purple and white school on North Street, right? This man resurrected the basketball program of Kingston College during that period. I thought that it was between Casey and Arden during that period, but Casey was more dominant. You know, this man did a good job over his 15 years there at Kingston College. He went on to, he's currently the head coach of the University of West Indies, and also he's the big man in charge of the basketball program in Jamaica. So let us welcome to Primal Sports, Pete Matthews. Hello.
One correction still.
What?
I'm president and the head coach of Jamaica basketball. I used to coach the junior national, juvenile. Then all that. As a matter of fact, right now there is no basketball going on. Apparently anything anywhere. Right? But we just based on a third together. I'm sure that's what people are president.
Did you hear him clearly there?
No, not hearing you so clear. Peter, I think we're not hearing you clearly.
Breaking up there a bit.
All right, I'm going to try to turn off. Hold on.
Yes, man. What came back in the 90s with Bolan and those guys from KC. This man did a good job back in the 90s, boy.
I mean, I want you to have more of his background to hear from him.
Yes, man.
Background in coaching from starting point to basically where he is now. That road, you see. And, just the state of basketball in Jamaica, because in Jamaica, basketball is a big thing, but we are stuck on NBA and the global stars, but we have our own footprints in the NBA. I want to know.
Yeah. We'll definitely have a couple of them coming up. We have a couple young Daniel Isaacs, young trying to reach the NBA.
Yeah. Former table tennis player. Every time I see him getting taller and taller.
Yeah, he have a growth spurt there, boy. Yeah. About 6 inches. Yeah, man.
Even FIBA qualifying, I'm curious how Jamaica did in that.
Yeah, because in terms of the Olympics and all that, you never really hear much about how the route in terms of the qualification.
You play against what countries? I mean, if you ever qualified for basketball, I mean, how close you got?
Pete, are you there?
Yeah, man. Get cut off. I'll call come in and get cut off for a little.
We're in the clear now as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So we're touching on basically your career in coaching. You can just give us a background of, how you started coaching to where you are now.
Well, even before coaching, I used to play around with basketball at KC. While I was at school, that was before Jesus born. While I was at school, I used to just bounce the ball a little around a little bit, and then your friends in a place they have to do so boy, all your friends in a place they have to start playing too. So we get involved in the sport. I actually never played for KC while I was at KC. It was after I left school that I started playing. And then when I started playing, that was a year, my final year in school. I started playing, but I played club basketball for this youth named Keith Daly. He was a former coach at KC also. At that time, we had a KC Old Boys team, but I wasn't really interested in the KC Old Boys team. We had a separate team from a KC Old Boys team that had funny enough, that team had mostly KC old boys and Calabar old boys on it. Right. That was Utopia Trailblazers. But and I moved from that. Then I started coaching. And Keith Daly left KC, and I started coaching at KC after he left. Funny enough, when I started coaching at KC, I was just there for. The plan was to be there for a year to help out, and 1 year turned into 15 years.
Yeah.
During that span, I ended up coaching the juvenile basketball team. That's the under 19s, the under 19 national team. So that's where my time with national coaching. I coached juvenile men. I coached the girls. I coached ended up being assistant coach on the men's team. Went to a few tournaments and all of that. So then, after being at KC for 15 years, I just figured that, well, I never figured it was time to go, you know. I got an offer to coach at UWI. The funny thing about it is that during my time at coaching at KC, it wasn't a paid job or anything like that. All of my coaching was volunteer. And when Grace Jackson asked me to come coach at UWI, I was there for the first couple of months, and then somebody from the office called me and said, Mr. Matthews, you're not coming for your check. And I thought it was a volunteer job.
Okay.
And that's where it started from. I realized that I could make some pocket money from coaching, basically. So I ended up at UWI. Been at UWI, 20 years now, from 1998. But right now, there is nothing going on. You gentlemen supposed to know that there's hardly any sports going on at UWI.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the football, they withdrew from the football competition. So there's nothing else going on. So all the coaches are really not working presently, because there is nothing going on.
So in terms of like the national program, there's nothing national in terms of that program. Nothing is happening there as well. No training, no.
There's no present training going on. What is happening is that the national team right now, due to the fact that you know, we had a tournament called the NBL, the local Open League, but since COVID, the tournament shut down, everything shut down. So basically, there's nothing at all going on. We participated in a tournament a few months back, but it was a qualifying tournament trying to head to the Olympics, but we didn't make it in that tournament. There's a guy. Mm-hmm. Yes, you saying?
Yeah, I wanted to find out about the process about the qualifications for the Olympics. Because basketball was always kind of in the background when it come on to like how do you qualify. Everybody know about the football. Everybody know about the table tennis and the badminton. We really don't know about the basketball side of things. Tell us, like, is it a regional qualification? Do you have to compete against Europe? How it works?
It goes just like football, basically. But okay. you have to qualify regionally first through Central Basket and all of these Central America and the Caribbean. You have to qualify through those tournaments, and I think the top 3 would move on to the next tournament going ahead. But it's tough to qualify, though. It's tough.
Yeah. The top country in our region for basketball, Puerto Rico?
I would say Puerto Rico, because they have a good program going. Dominican Republic is also has a very good program, and Cuba.
Yeah, there are players in the NBA. Puerto Rico are players.
Yeah.
I'm right.
I didn't know a lot for those from Damerp until I went there. Yeah, so
we were on our way, you know, when Ajani was president. I don't know if you ever Ajani Williams.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, man, he was on his way trying to make it to the Olympics, but the road is tough and the cost is very. It costs a lot of money.
The new president is Mr. Paulton Gordon, right?
Walton Ward.
He's the current president. I know he's trying to do big things. I mean, COVID probably slowed it down, but hopefully things can get on track. And
Yeah, it's just so unfortunate, because his term of presidency, I think he's on his final year
yeah,
as president, because the span for presidency is 4 years. I think you can go back one more time after that, but I'm not sure what his plans are. I haven't thought on his board. I'm a part of the executive of that board.
Okay, Pete. So what do we need to improve the level of basketball in Jamaica?
Basically, right now, well, first of all, you need sponsorship. But right now, I think basketball is at a stage where, as in my opinion, basketball will have to start over again. It will have to start from the grassroots level.
Yeah.
Because the better players that exist right now, none of them has played competitively for over a year or more. Mm-hmm. And there's no basketball happening anywhere on the island, right?
Yeah, because I know, Bob, guess back in the late 90s, early 2000s, there's kind of a boom for basketball in Jamaica, because every park there was people playing basketball, and then we had hopefuls. I know Calabar had a player one time, I don't remember his name, but we had players going into the college system, getting scholarships in small colleges and stuff like that. But as I said, we need to get back on track with stuff like that. Structures. I mean, structure is very important to any sport.
Even at UAE, even at UAE, not only at UAE but at UWI, at UTech, and we had the college league, the local college league that wasn't doing too badly either. But COVID has done us real bad. There's absolutely nothing at all going on anywhere. Okay. Even when COVID just started, I tried to get my players in some like a pickup game, but the COVID protocols and all of that, and everywhere.
And it's a contact sport. It's kind of everybody's close.
Yeah. Everybody's about their health, and I mean, health comes.
Oh, so about apart from finances, is there anything else that we need to get the level?
We have the courts, right? We have the courts. We have the court in Montego Bay. We have a few courts around the place, right? But finances are the big thing, and in order to get our thing for run again, we need to have our local league started, and our local leagues need to be sponsored.
Club leagues.
Right now, everybody who could make anything at all right now, in my opinion, they are done for. Yeah. Oh. Because age-wise.
Start from the grassroots.
Yeah, that's why I have to start from grassroots. Back then, when I left KC, we had a mini basketball program, right? Yeah. When Howard McCarthy was the president, we had a mini basketball program, and we had some players coming up from that mini basketball program with Andrew Boland, Roger Marshall, under 15 players, and we have to go back from down there.
How about coaches in Jamaica? I mean, set up from the grassroots and to spread it across. And is there a lot of coaches in Jamaica that could help with this movement?
Yes, there's Ludlow back at Calabar. I myself right now, I don't think I'm really interested in like coaching in the national team. I am done with that now. Right. But the younger coaches who coach in the schools league and in the college league, a couple of them are on the brink of getting into it. But this COVID thing, boy, it kind of just put us on a. We're still stalled, because even where we play basketball at the National Stadium, we had the NBL going on in there in the National Arena, and that was the thing they sent us. So all of that stopped. The court was resurfaced on the outside, and it has still not been opened. It has not been open to us on the outside up to now. So until we can get these courts open again, where people can play, actually, it's gonna be rough.
So the state of basketball right now is kind of in limbo. Based
Standby.
based
On
on
standby. We got permission from the government to restart, but internationally, the international federation, what they're trying to push right now, they're trying to push qualifying for 3-on-3 tournaments, and that's not a full court game really. That's just 3 players basically, or 4 players.
Of course.
And that kind of does that won't much to help locally, basically. You know, the 3-on-3 tournament is what we were trying for, because it has gone international now, where we have international 3-on-3 tournaments. But
so the players need competition. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, man.
What about the skill? What about the skill level? You mentioned. What about the skill level?
Let me tell you, the skill level was way up there, you know. It was way up there. But that again, right now, any athlete at all who can ever practice or compete for over a year and a half and all of that. Yeah. One of the things that are happening also is that they're getting older. They have gotten older, right? You have to look now to the younger ones, like the 15-year-olds. Those are the ones you have to look for now to improve their skills and move ahead, because I don't see this going to need,
I'll continue.
This going to need a couple more years before we can get back at the level that we were at, basically. We need a lot of time.
Okay.
So before we go, what's your NBA pick? Because I know you're a basketball enthusiast. You must have been watching NBA. You was a basketball pick. Where you pick it?
My team was the LA Lakers, you know.
Okay.
I am old school. It was LA, but I don't hate any other team. I hate LA Lakers right now because of LeBron. LeBron is the...
You're on the same page. You're on the same page.
I don't like LeBron James.
Yeah.
My players was Michael Jordan. Funny enough, you know, Jordan was my player. Because when I was coaching at KC, Jordan him caused me to have problems.
Yeah.
Because we have some players where I have a player, him do some things on the court, and I said to him, say, listen, man, this is not the way to do it. And him say, but coach, I want to be like Mike.
Yeah.
Everybody
must be like Mike.
Yeah. And were my players. My LA Lakers. And I never liked Chicago Bulls because they were too good.
Yeah. I'm a Lakers fan as well.
You sound like a Kobe fan as well, man. I feel like MJ must like Kobe too.
when Kobe did the ball living here, you know.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I remember where I was. Me, I'm a co-producer in the studios. Yeah. The big Lakers fan, I was a Kobe fan. And I mean, that shook us. We even did a YouTube video on it. I mean, but Kobe's the boss. Kobe's the boss.
There's nothing about LeBron James that I like. And I hate LeBron James fans more than I hate LeBron James.
Yeah, me too. I have nothing against him personally, but his fans put him up too.
Yeah.
I don't think he's it. But
as a coach, what about his game that you don't like? As a coach, tell me.
Again, I am old school, and I figure that LeBron James, the size of LeBron James and the strength that LeBron James have, I don't think that he should be playing in the position at point guard.
What about the limitation of shooting as well?
He should be in the paint battling with his strength, right? And him take up the point guard position and people say him dominate and all of that. But most of the time, he just push on everybody out of the way and that sport.
Yeah.
Use him half and go left.
With the half hand.
A lot of people not going to agree with me, but it's my opinion and I'm sticking to it.
Same here. Yeah. And I'll never forget the Dallas Mavericks series when Jason Terry, AJ Barry marked him. That is Saturday.
5'11".
Is movement, is loyal to teams.
Yeah.
But in the days, people used to be loyal to them team. People like Charles Barkley and people like Shaq, all of them. But people used to move up and down all over the place so much. People are running on the money more than anything else now, you know?
To me, the bouncing run more than the spalling ball.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't like it. As you say, we're more old school still, but I mean, LeBron gets his props, but to me, his fans are more annoying than him. I mean, he's
but you know, I don't even watch the NBA this year, you know.
Oh, yeah.
None, any of it. I don't want to see any of it. It is no fun as far as I'm concerned.
It looks like a Suns Bucks finals, which we get a lot of reviews.
You see a player in my background.
Yeah.
I saw it this morning. You know, the NCAA is changing their stance on collegiate players where they can be paid now. He actually signed a $2.5 million contract. I think sometime this week. Yeah,
that's nice.
College players can get some money and get some props now.
Yeah,
things are actually changing.
That's good. Moving better to the future. I hope these kids know what they're doing and have good management as well. Because I mean, life-changing money, and at that age, I mean, that can either make or break it. So.
Yeah.
And speaking about even scholarships, too, the last year at UAE, I had a few players who I had set up for scholarships, you know, and it just turned out that the thing just stopped. And all of these players because UAE used to give out a few scholarships to players, but they could could at least get tuition to go to school and all of that, and it really wreck everything. Right now, even my club team is running Rebels in the NBL.
Yeah.
That team wreck right now.
Yeah. Oh, see, I tell you, it affects all sports and everybody, you know, especially the coaches, you know, a lot of coaches who depend on these kind of things, leagues and trust and all that, you know, finances. We know how it goes.
Right.
But, we're gonna have to run. It was a pleasure having you on today. But you can leave a departing word for some of our youngsters watching, you know, or aspiring basketball players. Give them a departing word coming on.
I would say to the younger players, I'm talking about. I'm not talking about people who are over 20 years old. I'm talking about people who are under 20, right? And those that are between 10 and 15 years old, right? Do your little thing and try to craft your skill, because the game is gonna be back, and it's gonna be back real soon, right? But for now, you have to just go and play at home, do shooting, do little dribbling and all of that, because the game is not dead. It will be back, right? But it just needs time. It just needs time, and it need the places to open back where basketball is played, where people can play, because basketball is really a sport where one person can't play it. It need a couple of people to get together and play it. But don't give up hope still, because it will be back.
All right. Thank you, Pete. Fortis. Thank you very much. All right.
Respect.
Fortis Cadre Cedere, non-Fortis.
Our next guest is waiting in the wings. Former table tennis president Keith Garvey. Although we'll not be talking about table tennis, I mean, we'll be talking about something different. Mr. Garvey is a sports enthusiast, and that I'm sure of. I've known Mr. Garvey from I was a boy. I mean, years now, and I follow him on Facebook, all his social media, and sports. So I always know that he's in tune. And Dale, what's sports topic for Mr. Garvey this week?
We're going to talk everything, you know. We're going to talk about the presidency and everything. Table tennis.
Go ahead. Mr. Garvey, you got Mr. Garvey. How things?
He's a footballer as well, you know.
Yeah, man.
Mr. Garvey.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me on your program, Kane.
I'm sure.
Dale. Nice to see you guys. You seem like I'm missing the ackee and saltfish and all those lovely things you guys having in Jamaica. You don't look a day older than when I left 4 or 5 years ago, you know?
Peter giving us a secret, you know? He does.
Well, yes. You know, he has it, you know. So stick around him, and you'll be forever young, you know.
Fountain of youth. How are things with you, Keith? How you been? What haven't heard of?
No, things are really good. I mean, you know, when I was in Jamaica, as you know, quickly, my family was away for almost 10 years now. My family has been away, so I was really a cowboy in Jamaica, which is not good life, you know. So I'm really happy to be back, you know, where my wife is and my kids are. So, you know, from that standpoint, you know, things are working out really well.
That is good. Family is key, definitely.
Yes.
Have you been following our current situation here in terms of table tennis?
Yeah, man, I don't leave out that, man. I mean, remember I left as a top player, you know, so,
oh, my.
You know. Yeah, so I do know, there's a center which is less than 5 minutes from where I live in New Jersey, you know. There's a center I don't know if you guys know about it, by the name of Princeton Pong.
I've heard about it.
Yeah, Princeton Pong, you know. I mean, it's driving, less than 5 minutes away. So I do dabble a little there, you know, I mean, the players are normally 25, 2,600. So since I was 1,900, you know, that practicing with these players, I'm just about 23, 2,400 now. So, you know, whenever I come to Jamaica and link you guys at Peter's Center, you know that, you know, you'll be in for trouble, you know.
That expensive city, you know, so.
So Keith, tell us what are your views on our table tennis?
Well, you know, I'm a straight talker, you know, and let me tell you how I'm going to put this. I haven't seen the changes that I expected. I'm a little disappointed, to be frank. We are almost I follow it closely, you know, come the 6th, which is around about Tuesday. The new administration would have been in for 5 months. You know, they were voted in on February 6th this year. I'm very disappointed with the communication aspect. So let's start there. When before the election, for the past 2 years, the campaign was very much on. We used to hear a lot coming from, you know, Mr. Mo. He was on the air almost every day. You know, they had promised that within, you know, after 3 months, you know, they will be communicating with us very regularly, telling us what is happening. And it's not that I expected, you know, they to be in and everything to happen overnight. The communication, I would expect to hear about the plans, you know, what does the future looks like. I mean, it's pandemic. I mean, you have to talk to the government and all those persons before, you know, having tournaments and all that. That is not what I'm disappointed with. I'm disappointed with the fact that, I mean, there's just too much quiet. It's just too quiet. I would expect, you know, to hear in terms of what are the various committees that you have established, you know, who is in charge of the marketing committee, who is in charge of public relations, finance committee, disciplinary committee, technical director. All those things doesn't need table tennis to be playing to name, you know, who is the technical director, who is his coaching staff. You know, those are things that you must put in place even before you start talking about, you know, various locations, you know, JDF, UEK, and UTEC, nothing plays there anymore. Those are popular venues. You can tell about the plans. Speak to us. Let us know what is happening and what are the plans come 2022. 2021 should be a year of planning, and you're communicating with the, you know, who is in charge of the diaspora communication, because the diaspora is going to play a critical role in the redevelopment of table tennis. Mark, you know, I rooted for a change, you know, may his soul rest in peace, Godfrey Lotian. But I was one of them who welcomed Andrew Lowe and his team. But I have to be fair, I don't see anything happening now to tell me that there's a change. You know, so I am, you know, from that perspective, I'm very disappointed with what is happening. And I've made it known on social media, you know, that and I think also the way the president addressed my comments on social media was really sad, because he said, and I quote him, that he doesn't play to anybody else's tune. He plays to his tune. Now, before getting the presidency, those utterances was never coming from him. But all of a sudden, now you're a president, you know, you're high and mighty, you know, and it's there on social media for everybody to see, you know. So I'm not telling anything that is not true. He said he does this thing on his own accord, his way. So, I mean, I guess that is politicians. When you're in power now, you can do anything you want. So if you want straight talk, you talk to me about it. I am disappointed with what is stable. And I'm sure, people like yourself and others are quietly disappointed, but they won't say it. But Keith Garvey is not afraid to say that he's disappointed. Because it's the truth. If you rebut anything that I've said.
Correct state, yeah.
That is so true. You have to be vocal. You have to get something out there, some form of communication. I do agree with that aspect of it.
You touch on
I think
something.
that maybe he needs to get more people. Maybe he needs a bigger team around him. Maybe there's a handful of people. I don't think Andrew alone can do the job. But Mr. Lowton had tons of people around him. What are your thoughts on Mr. Lowton in terms of, because you mentioned a lot of these things, and I thought Mr. Lowton had done a lot of what you just mentioned.
Well, to be honest, Godfrey's, and may his soul rest in peace. I think there are aspects of, at this stage, I prefer to highlight the things that he did that were good. I don't want to, go down the other things. And the things that he did was good in terms of the amount of coaches that he had established, a lot of boards were given out to a lot of schools and so that was good. But what was, as as table tennis players, although he had a lot of coaching and, he had more coaches going, seminars and all that type of things and more level 1 coaches and all that. Now, it's good to have, you can have 300 coaches, but can those coaches bring up top class players? That's the next thing. It's hard when if you're not a student of the game and you do not play the game to a certain level, it's hard for you to really say you're going to be coaching, kids to come up to a high standard. So, from that standpoint, I think that was good. The whole coaching aspect, I think that is really the hallmark of the greatness that he did for the sport. So I give him his kudos for that. What I think his team, he didn't have a settled team. There's a lot of changes happening. Every minute you hear that there were new administrative members. And I'm not sure that these persons were persons who were around the game, involved with table tennis. Yeah. They were basically, just people getting on board the sport. And therefore, I don't think you can point to. In other words, where I'm getting at, if you ask me what was the legacy from my time, there is, it's all about getting good people to work with you. I am not the one who, the last time we reached a Caribbean championship was when I was the president, was in 2008. I think Kane was on that team too, when we lost to Barbados in the
I wasn't on that team, but I was a junior coming out to the scene at that time.
Right. So that team, from then on, when you look at who we have in terms of the administrator, it wasn't just me, but we had a team. We had Oliver Mayer, we had Bert Welch, we had Cecile. Dennis was on that team too. Justin Allen, because we can't talk table tennis in Jamaica and don't mention Justin name, A lot of people, because he's not maybe not the most eloquent and well-spoken person, we tend to forget about Justin's contribution to table tennis in Jamaica. But he's one of the most organized persons that has, for the past 20, 30 years. That has ever been. I'm telling you, that's why I said, if you need truth in table tennis, you talk to me. Because a lot of people afraid to mention that Justin's input coming from 100 miles way up in the hills of Manchester, and he was the first one to reach Kingston, organizing the tournaments. And Justin did, he deserved a national award. Trust me. So when you look at I point at that to say, when you look at the team that I had back then, that it was a team. It's a team that did it. When you look at Lothian's situation, he never really had a team around him, a settled team. There are a lot of changes. Table tennis, let me tell you, table tennis always come back down to, any association comes back down to 2 or 3 persons who does the work. That is how it goes. Yeah. And when you're the president, you have to make up your mind that you're going to clean up that place after tournament. You're going to help pack up the board. It's an all-in thing as a president. It's not just a job where you're going to just be, you have a nice chair and you're the president and everybody else.
And giving
It doesn't. Yeah, no. And you guys remember, you have to come to the tournament. I had to be at the tournament early. You have to help umpire matches. Is jack of all trade as a president. So Lotian did his part, based on the limitations, and he made his contribution. Just like before, we all made our contribution. But if we are talking about where the sport is going to be going now, I think Andrew and his team may be missing out on a glorious opportunity, because coming from Lotian's situation, he got a situation where with proper marketing, he could have turned that around where he gets the support of the total Jamaica in terms of table tennis. Table tennis was the most talked about sport for about 6 months leading up to that election. Yes, it was.
Every week.
Every week. And that's a positive. That was a positive.
You have to see. They ask me what went on.
No, Kane and Dale, you have to see where I'm taking the conversation, That now could be flipped around now to a real positive. If you come up with your plans now to say, hey, this was a situation, we had a change in president, and now we're going to be moving forward. And these are the plans that we're asking corporate Jamaica and the populace to support. It's a glorious opportunity. But with it being so quiet now, people say, oh, it's the same of the same old, There's nothing to, and I'm telling you, that is the biggest challenge we have now, is that the present administration has not capitalized on the opportunity in taking over the association 5 months ago.
Check in my chat room now, somebody said on TV every week profiling. That was the case. It was in the media for months, and
yes, and the promises that were made. We are, we are hearing that there's no financing, and they're in the red and all that. I find that very, unbelievable, because let me just remind you, when my team gave up office, we gave up office with $500,000. We didn't give up a broke, the association was never broke, right? When the team that Peter Muyong was a part of gave up office, there was money in the kitchen as well, if you understand. So table tennis has never been known to be, with the past presidents, coming back to be broke. You understand? Because, I'm hearing now that when they're going to tournament, we're going abroad, it's difficult to send players abroad and all that. We didn't have those type of problems, because if you're properly organized and get people to buy into something that is progressive, then you have, the funding and all that thing, will come. So I hope good sense will prevail and others will voice their opinion, like I did. Jamaica is a place where people afraid to talk, people afraid to tell Andrew the truth, But I'm not,
Maybe you should give some service. Give up service.
You give up service when you're asked to, Dale. You have to be asked to, And some people may feel that, hey, reaching out, this is the same person who you guys knew. I'm noted to be vocal. I'm gonna tell you what I think about the situation and what you can do if you don't believe in, you challenge what I say. I haven't said anything on your program that is not very true and facts. It's factual.
Publicly on Facebook, it's all there, as you said.
Yep.
To me, you touch on a very important point where he needs a good team. Every president needs a good team and have a structure. And as you said, that seems to kind of be lacking. And I know he means good for the sport, just like Godfrey Lotian. And that's where Mr. Lotian kind of fell short. As I know him personally, and I've been on tour with him, I've been to his office, call him on his phone and talk to him. I know he means the sport very well. But the team that was kind of centered around him, and I said it changed. 1 year, this person was the vice president. Next year, it changed. But this administration now coming up, as I said, those stuff are not in place as yet. And I know Mr. Lou wants good for the sport, but sometimes you can take constructive criticism, and we're not all perfect. You just voice your opinion. And I think that teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Voice your opinions.
This
I don't say what you will always say will be right. We're just stating it. And people, it's all about a business structure and communication. And you touch a very good point where that a good team is needed. And people doing work that the names probably won't call, like a Justin Allen, like a Bert Fletcher.
Yeah.
People personally have been to Manchester and they played a very important part in your association and association.
Sorry to cut you, but when you talk about team, you have to put the right people in the right places, right? You can't, this friend and friend thing can't work. You know, you put somebody who's deserving of the position.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I think that affected Mr. Lotian in the early days of his administration. Well, put the people who's deserving of the position. It's not no friend and company business, right? So I think that's part of the thing that's been affecting us over the years.
And I mean, you see, I think also we touched on it a little, but maybe we need to expand on it a little more. When it comes on to the diaspora and the role that we can play, I remember about 3 nationals ago, you know, they were looking, you know, prize monies, people here to help to sponsor different events. And I think it was Hector Bennett reached out to me and said they were looking at sponsor for the men's rural. And I mean, it you know, without even a blink, you know, I sponsor that. You understand? There are many people here who will actually help for the growth of table tennis. But you need somebody has to be put in charge of the diaspora management of the sport in terms of who is it that leads that committee that deals with the diaspora to get involved with helping the sport locally. That is going to be very, very key. And what I think is also going to be very key, gentlemen, is transparency in whatever you do. You know, you don't want the table tennis to move in where it's just in a little corner controlled by a few, if you understand. And then the populace doesn't know what is happening. I think that we underrated any business you're running, communication, and we started with that, and we're coming back to it. If you're not communicating, then, and you need to communicate publicly. So don't tell me that there's a table tennis group or there's a Zoom call that only a few have access to. That isn't communication. Communication is the same way how you could find the Jamaica Observer and the Jamaica Gleaner and KLA Sport and all, you know, when leading up to the campaign, and everybody knew what was happening. It's the same thing that you need to do if you're going to be talking about, you know, expanding the sport. And don't tell me that because tournaments are not going on now, that's why you don't hear anything. You need to tell us about the plans. Come to us and tell about the plans and tell us what role you want each of us to help you to play to build the sport. You know, tell us 5 months, you must can tell us who is the technical director, man, and who is the coaching staff and all that type of thing. You know, because just, remember, you know, no tournaments or no league, nothing is happening. So now is the time to put pen on paper and plan a thing with the committee. So that's where I'm at on it. Until I hear the plans, I can't say whether the sport is going to be better in a year or 2 years or 3 years. Because nothing is before us to judge. Yeah. You understand?
Okay. Yes, Keith.
So that is table tennis, you know. But remember, there's some other things that we need to talk about. This weekend there's 3 big events happening this weekend that we need to touch on, because as a sports fan, we can't just deal with table tennis, you know.
All right.
So we have Wimbledon. Wimbledon is, you know, Wimbledon is normally over 2 weeks. So this is the first week. We see Roger Federer is still, you know, he won 3-1 a short while ago, and Novak Djokovic, you know, he's going for the Golden Slam this year. And many people not watching that. And the Golden Slam is that you have to win the Australian, the French, the US Open, and Wimbledon, and the Olympic gold. It's not, and that's why they call it the Golden Slam. So I don't know. I just want to tell you guys that my pick for the men's singles, I think Djokovic is going to win the men's singles. Yeah. And I'm going with a little known player that people don't know for the women's singles, but our people don't remember, a girl by the name of Iga Swiatek from Switzerland for the women's singles. Oh. So I don't know what you guys think about Wimbledon and, you know.
Is playing amazing. I mean, beating Nadal and Clay, but that part of me, I don't want him to equal Nadal and Federer. Not just yet. So I'm hoping one of the old guards have something up his sleeve.
Right.
Put up a threat to Djokovic, but he's a definite odds-on favorite.
So let me hear your call then. How do you call it for this weekend?
I'm going with Rafa. I mean,
you're going with?
Rafa Nadal. I can't go against.
No, Rafa is not. That means not. Rafa is not in Wimbledon, man.
He's not playing.
No, you know, he withdraw.
What a terrible that. Just started. It's which round 3 right now, I think?
No, we're in the first week. We're moving to the last 16, round of 16.
I'm not a touch Wimbledon. I just know that.
But you have to call it early, you know?
Djokovic for sure.
All right. And I know time is running out. The other thing that we should touch on is that also this weekend is that England will be playing shortly against they're coming up against 3 o'clock. They will be playing Ukraine.
Okay. I think it's an Italy-Denmark final.
Okay, I am going with Italy-England finals, and at least I'm agreeing with you here. I'm going with Italy I mean, Italy's playing really, really good football.
Yeah.
That's my national team.
But I think England will also reach the finals.
Yeah.
You know,
the brand of football Italy is playing, boy, it's a big change.
Yeah.
It's a big change.
Yes, I think they have gone back to old school football. You remember Italy 2006 when they won the World Cup? They're back to playing that type of football. Belgium is a good team, but with their top players, Eden Hazard and out, and Kevin De Bruyne, not in good form. I mean, injured really. They're just not the same thing. And the third thing that you should mention is that this weekend is the Austrian Grand Prix. You guys must follow everything. I mean, motor racing is a big sport. Yeah. And we have Lewis Hamilton, who has found a match finally now. In the guy from the Red Bull team. Yeah. So he has his work cut out for him tomorrow. But a lot of things are happening in the sporting world. I know that table tennis is the main thing to discuss today, but I really hope that the message will get back. If you're asking my closing remarks on the table tennis situation, I hope good sense will prevail. If you ask me, I'm willing to help. I've helped before, so when asked to contribute in whatever form, I am also willing to do that. I've always done that, and I'll still do that. But I'm never a yes man in anything, and I'll always share my opinion. Whether you want to agree with it, yes or no. So I'm gonna, just like how we were very hard on Godfrey Lochian, may his soul rest in peace. As a president, I don't think that because Andrew is in now, we must be afraid to voice our opinion. And you're not gonna. We are no yes persons. So constructive criticism, that is is what we're doing, and that is how I hope that he will take this, and not that he will take it to mean that we're against him. Because I personally, a lot of us rooted for him to have gotten that position. But we have to be fair in terms of how we judge him.
I mean, it's time for change.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, Keith, for being with us this week. I mean, I know you'll be on the show again in the future. I mean, easy to contact you. I mean, it's like just the touch of the phone. So, I mean, coming up, we'll have big things. And next thing you know, get your picks again for future tournaments. I mean, Olympics coming up. I mean, great.
I want to touch on the Shakari thing later as well.
Yeah, I mean, that is really sad though. I mean, I'm not one who is happy about that. One thing about we Jamaicans, we believe that we're holy and we're, we don't make mistakes. But outside of, I'll leave you with this one. Outside of Usain Bolt, very few of our athletes have never found themselves, getting a little trouble when it comes on to the rule. So let's not be too. Let me tell you, once money is involved in sport, then doping and cheating will always happen. It will never go away. Yeah, and money has no country. So whether it is US, Jamaica, Russia, money has no country. It is needed by all. So once money is involved, then you'll always have doping. Doping will always be there.
All right, thank you, Keith.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, guys, and we talk again soon.
All right, okay.
Big up everything. Respect.
All right.
All right, now we'll have our sports commentary with none other than co-producer, Mr. Peter Muyang. What do you have for us this week, Mr. Muyang?
Our commentary today is very, very topical because you just touched on it a while ago. And I just have a few minutes just to say that I, for one, I'm very saddened by the events of the last few days. Most sports fans have been salivating at the thought of another dream Olympic final in which the world 100-meter record comes under threat. The final ideally would have all the ladies that are running hot. And you have to admit that the sprinting has become hot of recent times. So my extreme disappointment with the disqualification of Sha'Carri Richards at being caught with dope. But it saddens me that a friend of mine posted on Facebook, today for me, tomorrow for you. And it saddens me to see that many Jamaicans today for me, tomorrow for you are rejoicing at the disqualification of Miss Sha'Carri. I've seen many jubilant posts in Twitter about the lady. She was drugging, she was whatnot. My goodness, she smoked a stick of weed under extreme duress. She shouldn't have done it. I'm not condoning weed smoking. Some of us, even here on Primal, might have even enjoyed a bit of the smoke. But the host is not on camera, no, so we can't speak about that. But my point is that under extreme duress, the lady broke the rules and she will pay the price.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if she turns up in Tokyo, US rules being what they are, but at the same time, it saddens me that Jamaicans don't understand that sports is about competition. We want the best to compete against the best, and that produces the best of us. The Olympic credo is higher, faster, stronger, and it means that we are testing the limits of human achievement by having the best go up against the best. I take no pleasure in Sha'Carri's problem or pitfall or mistake. I take no pleasure because, but at the same time, I say shame on us that we are taking a delight in the lady's misfortune. I believe Sha'Carri will come back. I believe she's a genuine talent. I believe her technique is on another level. And in 4 or 5 years, I expect her to be #1 in running. All of us have setbacks. Keith Garvey just mentioned a while ago that many of our athletes, with the exception of the great St. Leo Bolt, have fallen to the results, adverse results of drug testing. And so I said to you that Sha'Carri is just another lady who has made a misstep. She'll recover from it. I wish her all the best, and we from Primal wish her all the best. And that's my commentary. What say you?
Totally agree with you, Peter Moyen. Totally agree. As I said, I mean, it's sad to see where people are rejoicing. I mean, she made a mistake. We all made mistakes. She's paying the penalty, but we all wanted to see the competition. I mean, and that's a big event for the Olympics sprint.
Kane, a lot of people don't know this, that marijuana is only a banned substance only in the competition period. You're allowed to smoke. At least you can smoke in the training period. You can smoke.
Yeah.
But a couple of hours before the actual event, the competition, the race,
Yeah.
You're not allowed to. So it's like they give you a lab about 14 hours before. So it's not. I wouldn't say it's an enhancer, but not when it comes to the physical side. It's more for the mental. So it was on the ban list, and I guess she smoked it the day before she ran.
She knew about this, so she knew the consequences. Yeah. I mean, she knew what's at stake, and I mean,
yeah,
threw it over. She probably wouldn't have done it. Seeing the results and what is taking place, but she's owning up to it. And I mean, as Peter said, I think she'll be back, and she'll be back stronger. She's a definite talent. Dale, I think it's time for the speed round now. Running out of time this week. I mean, our guests ran us over, so let's go. I mean, I won the last 2 rounds, but they had it as a tie. But this week, let's go. Let's do this.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Today, the defending champion, Kane Watson, goes up against his partner Dale Parham to decide who is the Sports Talk champion this week. First question to the defending champion. Who will win Copa? Why?
Argentina, Lionel Messi, the GOAT. He's due. Can't bet against him. You can, but I mean, I think he's due. Argentina.
Kane, Dale.
Yeah, I will go with Brazil because Brazil has a rounded team. back line, middle, and on the forward line. That Argentina is somewhat too dependent on Lionel Messi. It's too dependent on one man. Football is a sport with 11 players on the field. You know, it's not like a basketball or a table tennis. It's more you can have more individual.
Sounds like a 10-9 round. One very quickly by Del Pram. Euro. Who will win Euro? Kane.
Italy. Playing the best brand of football right now. Complete football, 32 games unbeaten, top form. Playing against a Spain team in semi-final that is struggling, but Spain has pedigree. But Italy, best brand of football right now.
In this pandemic, you know, we're seeing a lot of upsets, you know, right across the board in all sports. And, you know, I'm going with England. You know, England hasn't won this cup for quite some time. And when you look across the board in the international scene, it's all new teams winning cups this year. So I'm going with England.
That round won by Kane Watson. The reason being, England never wins anything. So there's no way I'm going to give that round to
That is why they're going to win this time.
Greatest footballer on the planet in existence, 1 to 4. Kane Watson, tell me the 4 greatest footballers.
On the planet right now, currently playing Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Lewandowski. I'll have to go with Gianluigi Buffon. That's my big keeper.
Okay, deal.
I'll go with Messi, Neymar, Cristiano. Oh boy, this is a tough one. This is a tough one. I'll go with Buffon as well.
I'll give that round to Dale Prime because there's no top 10 that Lewandowski makes. I can't find anything Google. Lewandowski
defending Ballon d'Or.
I'm sorry. Next question. So Kane with a slight lead. Kane Watson, will Sha'Carri be at the Olympic Games?
I think she'll be there competing in the 4x1 based on the feedback I'm getting. I'm hoping she's able to run 100 meters, but I think America will find a way for her to compete some way, some Cinderella story, and compete.
Running out of time, Dale Prime.
Athletics is suffering right now, right? And then the world governing body will allow her to run the 100. Athletics is suffering. They need a star. You know, it's on a low now.
I see you did the research, Dale Prime. I see you did the research. You're currently leading, and the champion looks in trouble.
Sha'Carri will compete.
Kane Watson. Omar, does he go or doesn't he go?
Doesn't go. He made the team. We have top hurdlers. I mean, who are you going to take out the team? The top 3 qualifying the trials. The top 3 goes.
Gil.
Omar is our greatest sprint hurdler. At times we have to make exceptions, you know. Well, sometimes you can't just go on a one-off thing. Sometimes you have to work with the average of things. And Omar has been performing for over the past, 4 years? Been dominant. I don't see we're leaving him off the team. Has to go. If I'm in charge.
Well done, Dale. Well done, Dale. Preserve your lead. I'd suggest to you preserve your lead at this stage. Kane Watson, why is there a statue of a Safa poet? Do we need a statue of a Safa poet?
I mean, Tough also is somewhat the people's champion. I mean, he has done incredible things. I personally would not put a statue of a Safa poet because if you do that, then I mean, Johan Blake has to go up and many others who have done great things. So, do we need it? No. Does he deserve it? Somewhat. So, it's a fine line.
Dear Pam.
It's relative. It's relative. Asafa Asafa will go down as a sub-10 king, right? The most sub-10 in the history of track and of the 100 meters. So I think that within itself is an achievement, is a great achievement. So I think we can give him a statue. Well deserving for a country like Jamaica. You know, back then I used to watch the finals.
1 minute left. We're about to run out of time. Kane Watson, is T20 even cricket?
Definitely. New modern cricket. It's the only cricket right now. People love T20. Yeah. Nobody really wants to sit down and watch a 5-day test match right now. So T20 is the new thing.
In the dying seconds, Dale.
It's not really cricket. It's more for sure. And it's not cricket. You can't have 20. What is that? 20 over thing limited? No, it's not cricket. It's a yam digging kind of league.
We go to the scorecards. The judge from Cuba has Dale Palm 90 to 94, to 84, I'm sorry. The Jamaican judge has Kane Watson, 90 to 84. And by the closest of margins, a new defending champion. Congratulations, Dale Parham. You have unseated Kane Watson.
This is a coup, JTP, but this is a coup. Wrap up quickly. I mean, running out of time, so I want to thank everyone that's tuning. I mean, big up the Primal Sports team working behind the grounds. Anything to leave a note there?
Yeah, you know, we have to thank Keith Garvey for coming on today, and also Pete Matthews. You know, they shared Keith touched on a lot of good points. You know, it's fair, and we need to get back Pete for next week. Yeah. Definitely need to get back Pete for next. No, the upcoming show, I want you guys to tune into Mr. Fagan for the upcoming show right here on Primal Media Group.
Primal team.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for tuning us.
Yeah.
Love everybody.